we've moved a very long way. There's a lot of information available in terms of written information, in terms of specialist nurses who are counseling patients, in terms of provision of patient choice. The patient can walk into his GP's office and demand where he's sent to for his secondary or his tertiary care. And of course, there's the explosion of information in the ether, on the internet. Unfortunately, what it's led to is information overload. That, it's where does the patient go to? And that standardization has not really been achieved. Yes, patient can have Google as his browser, can, put something in, get the 10,000 hits. What does he look for? And how do we guide our patients to that? And I think that's very important as far as patient choice goes. And that, was driven home to me by a patient of mine who typically with, having obesity operations, go into a lot of detail about what are the operations available, how do you choose between which operation you're going to have, and tell them these are the pros and cons. And, the patient listened to all of that, and then he said to me at the end that, but, you've got to give me a recommendation. Because, if I go to my financial advisor, I'll listen to what he say about, the 100 mutual funds which are available, but I want to know from him what he thinks. So I think that we can do at an individual basis, but as a more global media communication, or particularly of using the internet and other communication tools, there is information overload in the UK. India, on the other hand, I think we are still at the point where the situation is where, by and large, of course, there are going to be, as always, people who are going to deviate markedly beyond the 2 standard deviations of the norm. But it is where, we are at the other extreme. The interesting point in that is something which was pointed out about earlier, is that whilst there might be the general distrust of the medical profession, patients by and large will have great faith in individuals, of saying, yes, doctors as a lot might be money-making rascals, but my doctor is very good. And that has been, I don't see in the UK. I think there everything is colored in the same brush. That medicine has moved a long way towards becoming a service industry. And perhaps that is the way to go, of it becoming a service industry, but it's got to be a service industry with a difference. Because what we are dealing with is very different. And I think for us as professionals is perhaps that sense of privilege. I don't want to speak for other professions, but I doubt whether a bank manager feels a sense of privilege with having my money to manage. He might feel a sense of satisfaction, a sense of, perhaps excitement in doing it. But does he truly feel privileged? I don't think so. So I think in terms of communication and the ability to educate and empower our patients, between the 2 countries there is a lot of cross-pollination. I don't think either place has got it absolutely right. And there are lessons to be learned from both the models and to work towards that. So just to conclude, I think important things we can learn in terms of 2 countries which have long historic relationships that go way beyond medicine is getting value for money for our patients, is standardization of quality. Because that is the important thing. We cannot, sure, we should aim for excellence. But what we've got to be realistic about is that there's got to be a bar. And everything has got to be above that bar. It should not fall below that bar. And then finally, as Dr. Madan said so well earlier on, patient education and empowerment is of course key to most of, or if not all the things we do. And there's a lot to be done there. Thank you.